So I fried up some onions with Powerball and put it on some pineapple, because James loves pineapple, and baked potato, cottage cheese, broccoli, cauliflower, salad with arugula. Anatomy of a Fall got top of the stack against Inside Man, Star Trek Lower Deck Season 4, Devil's Peak, Superman and Lois Season 3, and that's all on its own because I don't have another book to review with the stuff. And honestly, I love Janet Evanovich books, so it's tough for me to rate her stuff anything lower than awesome. So I don't really want to put it with them because the movies, like Anatomy of a Fall, that was really great. I thought. Anyway, so I'm gonna read a poem now. It might be controversial, I don't know. It's a Rime Royal, which is, I think, the easiest French form. I don't know. Anyway, I wrote this one on June 18th, 2024. It's called Artificial Pregnancy. I binged on discount caramel corn, 2 kilograms in just 3 days. It fed my belly fat to warn me of how easily it stays. I don't know why I bought the stuff, but now I'm sure I've had enough. I look as though I'm pregnant now, but what I'm carrying is not new life. I must abort, but how? This womb of toxins that I've got is safely cradled in my fat. I'll set them loose while losing that. Each artificial fragrance, taste, and caramel color that I see on caramel corn is toxic waste, and now it's all inside of me to gestate into something worse, like cancer or some other curse. This artificial pregnancy is one I'll have to carry now. I'll work the fat off carefully and lose the toxins, God knows how. It won't take just 3 days to lose. We get the life or death we choose. So that's just a poem, and if you disagree with the sentiments or whatever, that's fine by me. But hopefully you don't want to cancel it because you are really into promoting caramel corn or something, and you're like, I don't want to, because honestly, I don't know what is going to end up being medical misinformation half the time. It seems people really love to get me on that.
You should be able to review.
I should be able to review movies and books and whatever,
about whatever,
without having to worry about that stuff. But anyway, I'm going to, I guess James has quite a stack of stuff, or did you not bring it out? You did bring it out. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to let James talk about some books, because I don't know if this will be top of the stack as far as what he's reviewing, but I think so, because I really liked the Stephanie Plum novels, and Dirty 30, this was my favorite one so far. It was great to listen to. Now, I did think it was a little bit funny, like Janet Evanovich, we know the characters, so why is she reintroducing Lula or whatever, stuff like that? I mean, we already know these people. So, but I think maybe she might have been concerned that people were thinking that character, who is a strong African American woman, that she might have been portrayed as a joke, because she's funny. She's written really well, and anybody, I can't see anybody taking offense to her, but I imagine that's why Janet Evanovich reintroduced her and tried to say, yeah, she's overweight, but she's hot that way, or whatever, like, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, who doesn't love Lula? Lula makes the stories. You're not listening to the stuff for Stephanie Plum, although, I mean, she's the bounty hunter woman, right? But it's not about her, really. You're following her story along, but it's the other characters that make it, the grandmother a little bit, but Lula, it's all her. She's awesome. So, I don't know. Anyway, I have nothing else to say about it, but great listen if you're one that, like here, we're a little distance away from the mountains, but not too far, but long enough that you might want to put on an audiobook on the way, or whatever, right? Or a lot of people travel in the summers in Canada, going to beautiful parks and whatever, and so it's great listen. Dirty 30, 2 thumbs up for sure. So I'll put you over to James so that he can talk about his books, and then I'll come back, and if there's time I'll go over the movies. If not, then I'll go over the medicine. So go ahead.
Just trying to clean out this area here. Sorry about that. No. Okay. So about 2/3 of the way through. Definitely over half the way through too. And are you gonna sit down?
Yeah, I'll sit down. You didn't want cottage cheese on your potato.
I wanted it on the.
Okay.
I ordinarily would, but the hot bowl or whatever it is, bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl is.
It's too spicy for you.
It's a little spicy,
Okay.
so I'm trying to cut it.
Sure.
So I shouldn't have said Super Bowl. We might get cut out. Maybe they've got the rights to the name or something like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry.
Anyway. So your books. Is that the Bible?
So I remember. This is my new month's resolution for June. Not going to make it, but I've already warned people about that. I'm not going to finish up in the month because you've given me a lot of stuff to read. You haven't assigned it.
I didn't assign it. It's just I brought it home and James was like, "Oh, that looks interesting."
I want to go through it. So.
Wants to go through it all.
And I've been rearranging my books. Luckily enough, we haven't been flooded out. I haven't been flooded out. I live in an area that used to be a slough in Lethbridge. So when we get a cyclonic storm of more than one day in June, and the place does get flooded out, I've got a lot of books on the floor in my basement.
That's very cute.
I've been putting them on milk crates, not cartons, but crates, and rearranging it. And I'm going to put these kids' things at the bottom. So I just wanted to hit them. Yeah, well, just in case I'm reviewing this, why I'm going to be reviewing these books. But, it looks like I read these things all the time, but I don't.
Oh.
Anyway, these actually come highly recommended. Have you ever seen these, the series?
Yeah, they're very sweet.
Yeah. So you might have bought these from me, I don't know. But this is Fuzzy Peg Goes to School. And this is Squirrel Goes Skating. Lots of people go skating in this one. And the weird thing is, of course, it isn't Squirrel.
Well, it may very well have been. But you were collecting things too. Like, we were hoping to have a family. We wanted to have children.
That
and
would
so
be it.
we collected a lot of great kids stuff. So, anyway.
These two things in particular, that's what I would have been thinking of.
Yeah.
Anyway. I thought, why is it called Squirrel Goes Skating when it's hair in the middle? It's the big one, it's focused in the middle. And this is Gray Rabbit. I think they're married or they're partners, And here's Squirrel. Well, the thing I really like is the bow on her tail.
Very sweet.
Bow on her tail.
Yeah.
I'll give you a close-up of that. It's really gentle, all that sort of stuff. It's good for, there's the bow on the tail. I think it's good for kids. Of course, there's some people are a little bit worried about gender roles and all this sort of stuff. We say, oh, you know, gray squirrel is always cooking, taking care of the little ones and stuff
The
like
rabbit. Yeah.
that. You know,
Not squirrel.
you can read pretty well anything to a kid, so long as you put it in a context. You know, a kid will pick up more like what's happening in a household than what's happening in a book. You know, there's way too much censorship out there, frankly. And you know, you don't want violence. Kids being subjected to having violent things read to them, but there's not much violence. There's a character sneaking through a hole with icicles on it. So one of the things I like is the main character, Fuzzy Peg, in this story is not a shrew, a hedgehog. And I think it's his dad. He's got real long prickles, so they go through
They go through his coat. Very cute.
Very cute little things like that. So in this story, they just go out for a skate and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see the little
very sweet
bow on the tail and stuff like that. So this is a wintertime scene. Hair falls down, stuff like that.
Well, the artwork is wonderful.
It is absolutely.
Any child would love that.
It's so soft and gentle.
Yeah. It's very nice.
So I'm just trying to recall all the stuff that happened. Oh yeah, there's one character. It's a little bit like the Three Bears. They come back home after skating and see who's sleeping in the kid's bed. Spoiler alert! It's a rat. But I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it's squirrel. Actually, it seems like the kid ties a knot in rat's tail.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Well, it's not really bad. I mean, then they make a lot of noise to get rat out of bed, right? And then rat is out
in the cold.
In the cold, trying to undo
guy.
his tail. But,
Yeah.
you know, he kind of crashed the party. It wasn't his place.
Yeah.
That's not nice to go take over someone else's place. Not nice. So this is another story. Hare in this one is a bit of a jokester and stuff like that. So it's a couple of jokes. I don't know what's going on, and the kids don't quite understand. Nice little night scene, saying good night to the evening star. To the evening star. I would have loved this when I was a kid. I'm telling you. I loved it as a grown-up, actually. As almost an overgrown up. Just turned 70, not 7 years old or anything like that. Yeah, here's Hare just kind of joking around with them when they're going to school. I think it's their first day of school. Yeah, Fuzzy Pig goes to school. That's the name of the hedgehog, Fuzzy Pig. And stuff like that. Here they are going to the schoolyard, crawling under the gate. And they do a variety of things at school, stuff like that. So it's a nice little story. I'm reliving it with fondness. Yeah, here he plays a joke again. See, he's got a little megaphone there.
That is very cute.
Well, yeah, all right. He kind of scares him.
Oh.
Here is kind of like a
prankster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fuzzy Peg. Yeah, he gets a cold. He has to go across the river. But
Yeah.
there he is, and his dad's actually looking over in his bed. So not totally. You'd expect his mom to be doing it. I think that's his dad.
Yeah, my dad used to be the one who cared for me when I was sick too.
So yeah, the thing is just have a nice household and stuff like that. That's what kids learn from. They don't learn that much from books. You know, it's just a story.
did you want me to review some movies and you eat for a while, or?
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll eat. Yeah, let's go back and forth.
Okay, let's do that. So, Anatomy of a Fall. This one is 151 minutes long, and it's in French and English, because the woman here, she's not French, but she's married a man who is, and they're back in, I guess they're in France, and anyway, so her husband dies mysteriously. A little bit of a spoiler alert. I mean, you get to know it pretty soon into the movie, and so she's put on trial because at the time she's the only other one in the house. So what happened, right? And you're watching this and you kind of go, well, this doesn't make sense. You know, there's some things like real life, right, that just don't, you think, is this person, this doesn't sound like this is true, right? Like the music's really loud. He has the music on really loud, obviously to bother her. And, well, I don't know, but it seems that way. And he has been putting her through some stress, and it's, you know, it's all the courts. You can see how French society is very different from English too, because you can see how he's been putting her under stress. He's made these decisions. She has went along with things. Like, she didn't want to move back to his hometown. He brought her back there, so she's living back in his hometown. And he has made some decisions about what to do with his life that he didn't end up being happy with. Whatever, you know, and this is all really being dumped on her, and the court system's going along with that too. And but one thing she says, you know, she says she was tired and she put some earplugs in to have a nap, and then one of the earplugs must have fallen out because she heard her son calling outside. Right? Who said so? And you're listening to that going, really? She's going to have a nap while there's like blasting music going on and stuff? But like she says, she's used to it. And what do? You get used to things.
Earplugs.
Yeah, so she does the earplugs, and James used to do the same sort of thing. He had to work nights. You get used to it. You just deal with it somehow.
I had people living upstairs.
You have to.
Were absolutely nuts.
So, I mean, you listen to this sort of stuff, and then he'd had an outline for a book that he was wanting to write. He wrote 27 pages or something, and then that was it. He abandoned it, went on to doing something else, whatever. And I mean, he's trying to get a lot of stuff done, but she's productive and it's working out for her, and that's what's upsetting him. Is they're both wanting to be writers, and she's actually doing it successfully, and he did not, right? And so his outline, she turned it into a book. He abandoned it, and the courts are suggesting, and well, he was suggesting himself. He was recording conversations between them and fights. He was picking fights with her and recording them. And so, I mean, that's abuse all on its own. The picking fights with her and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, it's interesting to watch. I wouldn't expect it would be, because it's very long, 151 minutes. That's pretty lengthy. But there's it's worth it, I think. So there's that. And Inside Man. Well, who wouldn't like something starring David Tennant and Stanley Tucci, right? They're great. Everybody loves these guys. So put them together, you're gonna have something great. And it was a good mystery. I mean, it's not much of a mystery. It's a mystery, like it's more of a police drama, but without the police. It's a detective. There's this Stanley Tucci is playing this man who's a detective on death row. I guess he's really good at it. So people seek him out, and the warden actually doesn't want him to die. He's on death row. He doesn't want him to die. He's trying to fix him up with people who will pull some strings for him to keep him alive. But he's like, no, I did the crime, and it's, my wife didn't want to be murdered, and I don't want to die on, lethal injection or whatever, but whatever, it is what it is. And but anyway, so it's an interesting thing. It's a BBC thing, and yeah, it's basically a story about, like, the saying, the highway to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, here this David Tennant is playing, you can see the collar there probably from here. He's playing a, what do you call it? They don't call them ministers. What do they call them? Anyway.
Pastor.
I don't know. So, anyway, he's some sort of, I'm not sure. No, not a priest. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know. There's so many different names for the same basic thing. I'm not sure. So anyway, he's playing some sort of religious figure. And something happens. He's wanting to help somebody who's in need of help, right? Because he's like, well, that's what I'm here to do. And that gets him into so much trouble. And it's like he's put in a position where he's basically hooped. His life is going to go up in shambles, and it's not just about, if it was him, just him, he wouldn't mind. He'd be fine with that. And in fact, he tries to throw himself in front of the bus for everybody else's sake. And that backfires too. He just keeps trying to do good, and it just gets worse and worse. And anyway, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't agree with everything that was said by some of the characters. And honestly, I don't believe this story. I don't believe this would happen. But it's still entertaining. So, anyway, did you want to do some more, or did you want me to keep going?
I'll do it.
Okay.
I think I covered this one already, right?
Yeah.
Message. In the Hollow Oak, it's actually pretty good. And Nancy Drew mystery story in the classic yellow. Binding for the Hardy Boys, it's kind of light blue. Put out by the same corporation. It's the same family, actually. The Strattenmeyer family. Then, more recently, I've read this one, Trixie Belden. Did I review this one?
I don't know.
Fairly good illustrations. This horse is done so much better than this one, right? This one looks almost like a photo. This one looks sketchy. But Trixie Belden.
No.
She's only in these two things. She's only described once as a tomboy. But she's kind of got the short haircut. She's about 13, I think. And this is her next door neighbor, so like a year older. Honey, I think her name is Honey something like that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, she's kind of scared.
So the tomboy's the hero of the story then?
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, that's
so,
interesting.
Trixie. She's a bit tricksy, although Trixie I think short for Patricia. But it's she's the good rider, right?
Oh.
Because her family's rich and owns a horse or two, maybe several. And they've just moved in and stuff like that. Okay. I should really start with this one because I think this is the beginning of this series.
Oh.
At least where far as honey is concerned. So, and the secret of the mansion. So you can see the mansion. I'm not going to tell you what happens to the mansion or anything like that. And there just might be, there is supposed to be there's supposed to be $500,000.
But you were saying that
buried in there.
the mysteries were really badly written.
Not necessarily. This one,
Okay.
the mystery starts about page 95. And there's about 282 pages. Let me see if I got that right.
So that's just too late to really catch
282
anybody's
pages.
interest.
So 95 times 3 is 270 plus 15, 285. So that's more than a third of the way through
Yeah.
the book. And that's, yeah. And so there's a lot of stuff that might appeal to girls. You know, like there's a lot of, you know, like, not so much gossip, but, you know, like, what are we going to do tomorrow? Let's go have a picnic, or, see what I'm saying? The one character I like is Trixie's younger brother. There's something that runs in the family. You know, her younger brother, I don't know how old he is. His name's Bobby. He's got Bobby Belton, BB, and kind of got a ring to it. And he's always getting into trouble, but she always is. It's amazing in this story what happens. You know, like in the space of a few days, like she jumps into a pool without checking how deep it is.
Oh,
so,
my.
Yeah, she ends up with a concussion, and then she's training. Trixie knows how to ride a bike. She's got a bike. Honey knows how to ride horses, but doesn't know how to ride a bike. So Trixie is teaching her how to ride a bike.
Yeah, it's not working very well.
Well, going down a slope
Oh,
when
no.
you're learning. So, spoiler alert, poor Honey ends up, what is it? She ends up with a gashed knee or something like that. There's what happened somewhere along the line. Trixie splits her head open, you know, so she's got, I can't remember what exactly happened there. She's babysitting Bobby, her younger, adventuresome brother, so he's getting loose. So there are snakes in the area where they're at. And she's taking care of the garden. She's 13, you know, I think that 12 is the limit, and might have been back then in the United States, for being able to take care of a kid by yourself. Her mom says, you got some gardening to do. Keep Bobby out there, and teach him how to garden and all this sort of stuff. So they're thinning out carrots, and Bobby doesn't want to wear shoes. I guess it's hot or warm or something like that. So she's just preoccupied with the thinning out carrots or whatever, and Bob, all of a sudden she looks up, gates open, Bobby's not there.
Oh, no.
Okay, no shoes, there's snakes in the neighborhood, and there are copperheads in the neighborhood, and copperheads are poisonous. Turns out he gets bitten, and yeah, it's you know, I'm told that you're not supposed to cut open a snake wound, and suck the poison out, but that's what she does successfully. Puts on the tourniquet and so on and so forth. So
Yeah, I don't know. You see that a lot in films and stuff, though. People do that sort of thing.
Yeah, well,
I
they
don't
say
know
don't
how
do
much.
that if you got a cut or a sore in your mouth, right?
Yeah, I can imagine that wouldn't be good.
Anyway, spoiler alert:
anyway.
Bobby survives.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's there's some that's a fairly good illustration. I mean, it looks as though they were done kind of really fast, but it really captures. I mean, Trixie's not done that well, but she looks really sketchy.
She does,
You know,
yeah.
so
Drawn
you know.